Okay, so another question I was asked for the spot the mistake was on the very first question, just for a bit more practice with these style of questions. So let's have a look at them. So if we were trying to add or subtract two fractions, what would we need to do in this scenario here? Just double checking that we were subtracting. Yes, right. So let's just take a recap of if we had another fraction like 2/3 minus 4/5. Well, in this scenario we know we need to find the lowest common multiple of the denominator so we can get a common denominator. So the easiest common denominator to achieve if we've got one fraction in thirds and one fraction in fifths is to write both of these in terms of 15ths, seeing as that's the lowest number which both of these two numbers will multiply into. So you might think of that as doing 3 times 5 to get 15, and then doing 5 times 2, and then 3 times, and then the 5 times 3 to get 15, and then the 4 times 3 to get 12. That's perhaps how you do it. Another way you could look at it is that you've multiplied both fractions by 1, where on the right hand side I've multiplied by 1 by thinking of it as timesing by 3 over 3. And on the right hand side I think of multiplying by 1 as timesing by 5 over 5. Either of those will get you the same answer, because we know 2 times 5 is 10 and 5 times 3 is 15. We're going to apply the same idea to this problem. So if I'm subtracting fractions, I'm still going to need a common denominator, so I'm still going to work in 15ths. I've got that 15 from doing 3 times 5 as the lowest common multiple of 3 and of 5. What are the numerators going to look like though? Well, let's look at it in the same way. We can either think of how we got this 3 as we multiplied it by 5, and so this numerator is also going to multiply by 5, and I'm going to get 5 lots of x plus 4. And we can think of this 5 as being the result of multiplying by 3, and so I'm also going to have to multiply the numerator here by 3 and get 3 lots of 2x minus 3. Now this particular question that we were working on was asking to write as a single fraction, and now we have a common denominator. We can write this as a single fraction, just like for this question we could write this as now 10 minus 12 over 15 and conclude that this is the same as minus 2/15. This question we can write as everything over 15 too, so we can write that this is 5 lots of x plus 4 minus 3 lots of 2x minus 3. Well, simplifying the numerator, we're going to get 5x plus 20, expanding this out, minus 3 times 2x, which is 6x, and the mistake in the spot mistake was the negative 3 multiplying by the negative 3 is going to give you positive 9, not negative 9. This is all over 15, and we can conclude this question by collecting our terms on the numerator. So 5x minus 6x is going to be minus 1x, and then 20 plus 9 is 29. So we can conclude that in the simplest form this is minus x plus 29 all over 15, or we could also say it's 29 minus x over 15, which looks a little bit nicer, but either of those is fine. In fact, to answer the question, you could technically have stopped at this point, although you should never really do so. Even if it doesn't say to simplify, assume that you're meant to be simplifying the problem, and if you would have got full marks for getting to this stage here, then that will still be the case even if you make a mistake later on. So I think it's your turn to have a go at some of these. Maybe we should just, before that happens, generalize what's always going to be the case. So what's always going to be the case here is we're going to need a common denominator, and then we're going to have to multiply whatever's happened on the denominator, multiply by whatever's happened on the denominator on the numerator too. So just like here, we had our 3 times 5 to get our 15, then we had our 5 times x plus 4, and we got our 5x plus 4, and our 3 times 2x minus 3, and we got our 3 lots of 2x minus 3. So just like before, we could also thought of this as multiplying this fraction by 1 in the form of 3 over 3, and this fraction by 1 in the form of 5 over 5. Either way you look at it, just like here, we're going to get the same result. The key is to get a common denominator, and also to recognise you're going to have to multiply the numerators by the same amount. The general algebraic expression for this would be if you've got a over b and you're minusing c over d, we're going to need a common denominator, and that common denominator is going to be bd. So we're going to have bd here, and we're going to have bd here. How did I get this fraction, which has b in the denominator, to become a d? I multiplied it by d, so I'm also going to have to multiply the a by d, so I get ad here. And how am I going to get this c to match? Well, I got the bd by multiplying by d, so I'm going to have to multiply the c by, but I got the d to be bd by multiplying by d. It's almost a tongue twister. So I'm going to also have to multiply the numerator by b as well, so that both the numerator and the denominator have been multiplied by b. So I'll get bc here. Now we've got a common denominator, we can say that this is AD minus BC all over BD, and there we go. That's as simple as we can give our answer, seeing as we don't know any other information. Okay, it's your turn. I'm going to make my own question that's very similar to this problem here, and then all I'll do is ask you to have a go yourself, and then pause the video once you've got both questions down, and then watch my solutions once you've had a go. So have a go at x minus 1 over 3 minus 2x plus 5 over 5. So we'll make that the first question, so pause and have a go at that, then click play. Hopefully you've had a go at this question. Let's have a go at it together there now. And what we're going to get is 5 lots of x minus 1 over 3 times 5, which is 15, minus 3 lots of 2x plus 5 all over 15 as well. Simplifying that to be written as one fraction, we're going to get 5 lots of x minus 1 minus 3 lots of 2x plus 5 all over 15. And that's going to mean we have 5x minus 5 minus 6x minus 15 all over 15. And so we're going to get 5x minus 6x, which is minus x, minus 5 minus 15, which is minus 20, all over 15. So one more of these for you to practice on would be, let's perhaps do let's choose some different denominators now. So let's do, my pen works. What perfect timing. You're probably wishing that your maths teacher had figured out how to pause these videos. I have tried, but to no success. Okay, let's try again. What about 2x plus 4 over 3 minus 3x minus 6 over 2. Pause the video, have a go at that, and then watch my solution. So last question here, and let's have a go. We're going to need a common denominator, and that common denominator you might have spotted is going to be 6, as that's the lowest common multiple of our 3 and 2. So we just need to think, how are we going to achieve that 6 in the denominator? On the left hand side, I'm going to achieve that by multiplying this denominator by 2. So I'm going to have to multiply this numerator also by 2 and get 2 lots of 2x plus 4. And on the right hand side, I've multiplied this 2 by 3, so I must also have multiplied this 3x minus 6 by 3 for these to be equivalent fractions. And we get that. What do I need to do next? Well, I just need to group these under a single denominator now. I can do that, seeing as they both have a denominator of 6. I've got 2 lots of 2x plus 4 minus 3 lots of 3x minus 6. And I can expand and simplify. So I'm going to get 4x plus 8 minus 9x plus 18 all over 6, which gives me in the end negative 5x plus 26 all over 6. And that's my final answer. So I hope you got the same. Please ask any further questions on the class stream. I'm here to help you, and happy revising.